Good morning. Welcome to Michelle's City Talk. Let's get right to it. Local breaking news. Today, one of the things I'm going to talk about is property. Some of us are paying mortgages for almost all our lives, and some of us pass away before we finish paying it. What happens to those properties if we pass away and we did not designate someone to receive our property? What happens is those who have money and those who are in the know get your property. You may owe something as little as $50,000, or that person who passed away may owe something as little as $50,000 on their house. So then you get these lawyers, big companies, organizations that grab your family's property for a mere $50,000 while it's worth close to 200,000. I recently learned about this, and now I'm going to do what I do. I share it. We all run down in August, well, most of us do, to buy property at the Jackson County Courthouse. And not one time did I hear them announce, hey, you don't have to wait to come down here in August. We're selling off people's property every day almost. Okay, so that's what you're getting ready to get. You're getting ready to get that information. And if you buy property or someone does buy property that you know, or you're thinking about buying yourself a house, then this is a good idea. Instead of paying 200,000 or 300,000, what if you can get that same house for 100,000 in Lee Summit, Belton, Kansas City, Raytown? It doesn't matter. Follow the slides, you'll see why. You're listening to Michelle's City Talk. What you're looking at now is hidden wealth in Jackson County. When someone is foreclosed on, or when someone passes away and they did not designate someone to acquire their property, the mortgage company or someone can go to court to try and get the property. Now, what happens is the court requires that person to have it publicized. Usually, these are mortgage companies. So the mortgage company is required to publicize it in a paper to say, hey, we're about to foreclose on this property, to give everyone in the Kansas City and surrounding areas equal rights to bidding on the property. Only problem is the paper they chose is not really per se a paper. It's called the Daily Record. And when you pull it up online, as you can see in red, it says permanently closed. A bit misleading because they're not. You call the number right below it, someone will answer, and they'll give you a little bit of a runaround as to why they show permanently closed and how they do business, with other places. And then, of course, they directed me to the MLM, which stands for Missouri Lawyers Media website, to actually find out about the companies. Well, of course, we had a long conversation because I had some things to say in reference to, one, why are they still saying it's the Daily Record? Two, isn't it misleading that you see permanently closed? Three, someone calls your number and you get a call back possibly the next day or so. And then four, you direct them to a whole different website. Why not at Jackson County put the Missouri Lawyers Media, MLMcounties.com, and tell people to go look there? Why make me do all this work? But that's another story for another day. So I clicked on the link of the Missouri Lawyers Media. I'm going to show you the next slide so you can see what I discovered. Michelle's City Talk. Okay, this slide, finding properties in Jackson County. Once you go to the MLM counties, then you have to be able to search to find the properties that you're looking for. And as you can see, new suits, Jackson County Circuit Court, which means new lawsuits or new issues or new court hearings or something of that nature. And I'm going to repeat this. If someone dies and they did not designate their property to someone and it still has a mortgage on it, the mortgage lender can go to court to petition the court so that they can auction off the property. In one case, they had a property valued at $175,000 and they were going to start the auctioning at around $32,000. Now let's think about that. Some of us have mortgages and we spend 20 to 30 years paying those mortgages off. We see people around us constantly getting richer and doing better than us, and we're wondering how. Well, this is how. You could be sitting next door to someone who bought their property off of this site because everyone is not aware of this site. And so they paid maybe 60,000 or 70 for the property next door to yours, valued at the same amount. So they're going to probably pay it off in 15, 10 years, while you'll sit there and do a 30-year or 35-year mortgage payment. That's why I'm sharing this, because so many people are getting, let me put it, richer or better off than a lot of the regular people. And if you notice in the name, Missouri Lawyers Media, that excludes a lot of people. And then as we go on, wait to find out how tricky they are when it's time to try to get one of these properties. Michelle's City Talk. Okay, now it's time to search for those properties on the MLMcounties.com site. You select real estate, and as you can see, I circled it on the right hand side at the top. Then you click on the down arrow and you choose real estate. Then, of course, to the right in red, it's already under all, which is fine. To the right of that, you'll see the words in blue and white, see results. Click there. That'll take you to a list of properties. Now, you still have to do a little work because some of these properties are in Jefferson City, St. Louis. So just scroll and look for at the bottom of each title and property. It'll show the address, a little bit of information, and then right at the bottom it says Jackson. It stands for Jackson County. So just keep scrolling to the ones that says Jackson County. At the very bottom of the page of that page, you'll see numbers for page 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Click on those because it may be a whole bunch of St. Louis first. And then you have to click page 2 and it'll get you to Jackson County. Okay, this is where it gets tricky, and this is why I'm a little leery of what they've done. I followed this process, okay? And I actually went on April 22nd down to the courthouse, got there about 9:50 or something, or no, I'm sorry. It started at 9. So I got there maybe about 8:50 or whatever, right? Needless to say, there was no one there other than people waiting to use the bus and the construction company doing work at City Hall across the street. But I sat there. Then I went inside and they said, well, that's where it should be. Why they're not there, we don't know. Tricky. They don't know because it's not done by Jackson County. It's done by a company called Sayer, Sayer, out of Waterloo, Iowa. Okay. Took me a minute to find that out just so you'll get an idea of the research that I do. Went to Jackson County. They sent me somewhere on 13th and Locust. Went down to 13th and Locust. They sent me back to Jackson County up to the fourth floor. Went up there, and that's when I was told this is not the same as the one we do in August. This is mortgage companies going to court, as I shared earlier, getting approval from a judge to auction off people's property. Okay. This company, these companies they choose when they're going to do the auction. As you can see, some of them could be back-to-back days. They have nothing to do with it as far as Jackson County themselves. Now, yes, the judge makes the ruling, but the workers at Jackson County has nothing to do with it. In fact, a large percentage of them I don't think even know about it, especially the ones as at the guard station when you first come in. So I go back out there. I call the Sayers company. I speak to a lady who sounded like she said her name was Renata or Renita or something. And she said, oh, it's supposed to be, they're going to do it at 1. Now, mind you, the listing says the bidding will be between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., particularly more at 1 p.m. Now, I thought that was weird wording because it's like, what does that mean? Is it actually at 1? So you actually go down there at 9. Something tells me they're checking to see if anybody showed up, right? Someone shows up, then they can say, oh, we're going to do it at 1. What can I do, right? So I came back at 1 o'clock. Got there, same process. 2 ladies were sitting there. They said they hadn't seen anybody. I got there before 1. I waited all the way to almost 2 o'clock. Nothing. Went to call the lady back and she said, "Oh, nobody's there. I'll have to transfer you to some lady." I forgot the name. She transfers me to a voicemail. Not that I was surprised. I left a message, hoping the lady would call me back. An hour or so later, I never got a phone call back, right? So I called again and now they would not answer the phone anymore. What do? Right? So that their office closes, I think it said on the recording at 4 o'clock. So, that was a done deal. Now, the question is, did some mortgage company get their friend or relative just to buy it? I'm going to put it out there, just to buy that property at a cheap price so they can split the proceeds. That's where us, the community, who the property belongs to, we're missing out. Going to my next slide. Michelle's City Talk. What else is Jackson County Courts selling? Well, it's not always them, but it is under Jackson County. As you can see, when you're on that mlmcounties.com website, there may be other things that you're interested in. You may be wanting to bid on a simple project in Jackson County. Click the bids option. Or you may have some family issues going on that no one told you about. Click that option. Or you may be interested in personal property, but you get where I'm going with it. You see the list, something you're interested in, click on it. You'll have to do a little bit of research. It's like anything. If you're not willing to put the work in, you're probably not going to end up with anything. Today, April 23rd, 2025, I'll be heading right back down to Jackson County. Now, I'll probably be wasting my time again because I believe this whole thing is a little fishy, and I don't think anybody's going to really show up in terms of that Sayer group. But what can I do? Only way to put it out to you all, and only way to say something's not right is to actually go down there. So I will be going down there again today. Watch my next slide. Kansas City, Missouri, Michelle's City Talk. By the way, although I report mostly on Kansas City issues and things affecting Kansas City, Missouri, this here that I'm speaking of is also happening in St. Louis and other places. So I'm sure in your community or whatever state you live in, the same thing is going on. People are being foreclosed on. The mortgage companies are asking the court, can we auction off this property? Now, it may be difficult, like it was for me, to get the information because they don't want to share it. I'm telling you, I already know. I have a person whose house was $90,000 and it ended up going to auction and sold at $1,000. Perfectly good house, in good shape, ready to move in. So right there again, red flag for me. So I wanted to tell you for Kansas City, Missouri, I'm getting ready to read off a few of the properties that are going up for auction allegedly. That's provided that the Sayer Group sends someone and they really show up today. 4617 South Benton Avenue. These are all Kansas City. 9822 Hardesty Avenue. 2502 Wabash. 1161 East 65th Street. 3906 Baltimore Avenue is a complete apartment complex. I'm going to say that one again. 3906 Baltimore Avenue, apartment complex. And then, of course, there's 2739 Brighton. There may be a few more, but I just took the initiative to grab about 6 or 7 of them. Again, you have to do the work. You don't want to do the work, you don't reap the benefits, okay? My biggest concern is something is going on that's not fair to the rest of the community. We always wonder why the rich get richer and the poor gets poorer. It's because no one's sharing the information, and that's intentional. Let the rest of us sit here and pay 20, 30 years on a mortgage while you're scooping up properties at, $80,000. This is Michelle City Talk. My only purpose is to share information related to Kansas City, Missouri, and surrounding areas. It's to help people be in the know. So many of us are out of the know. Oh, by the way, when you're looking at that list on that MLM counties, some of them are as simple as The county wants someone to mow the grass in the right of ways. Now, how many of us know people starting lawn services? They could be taking those contracts. You have to do a little work, but it's on there. If I find out any other websites or oh, there is another one that I did want to share with you. I have not looked at it yet, but I'm going to look at it. It's called MissouriBuys.mo.gov. Now, that's Missouri, Missouri, B as in boy, U as in unicorn, Y as in yes, S as in Sam, dot mo.gov. MissouriBuys.mo.gov. I'm getting ready to check that website out, and if I find anything of value, I will share. But feel free to go look yourself. Again, you've been listening to Michelle City Talk. I am putting out as many of these as I can before I get busy again. Have a great day. Today is April 23rd, 2025.